As I lie awake, resting from the day, I can hear.
Welcome to our YouTube channel titled VCB, Vinyl City Broadcasting, all you doo-wop, street corner, and a cappella aficionados. I'm Marie, the host of VCB, your transit express to rock and roll trivia. I'll be in the studio in about 30 minutes. I need to run down to 34th Street to Sam Ash Music to pick something up. Rico, I'll be in shortly. I got my drumsticks. I'm thinking about taking lessons. That's not nice, Rico.
Are you ready for your first music lesson, Marie?
I guess so.
I want you to keep in time to the song that I'm going to be playing for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I just love the tick-tock sound or the hook Jimmy used in the song. Rico, how did I do? Did I succeed?
Not bad, Marie, just a little more practice.
Okay. We had the pleasure of listening, seeing, and interviewing Jimmy Stevens of the Safaris perform at an AMP doo-wop show that was held at the Highlander Auditorium in Upland, California on July 16, 2016. What a great show. In the interview we did with him, Jimmy explains how he got this tick-tock effect that really became the hook for his famous hit, Image of a Girl. Do you know how he did it? Dan Pequeno, one of our outside reporters and contributors, did the interview. Why don't you run it, Rico, so that our VCB audience can get the trivia behind this classic song?
Hi, I'm Dan with Vinyl City Broadcasting. On my left, Mr. Jimmy Stevens, who had one of the nicest big hit rock songs of the 60s called Image of a Girl. Jimmy, tell us about the song. How did that song come together?
Well, there were a couple of guys in LA in the West Side that had written this song back in, I guess, '59. And I was going to college in the Valley, San Fernando Valley. And to sort of help pay my way through college, I was working at J.C. Penney's in Reseda in the Valley. And I was in the men's department. And I always grew up singing through high school and everything, big band stuff, Sinatra, Bobby Darin, Dean Martin, you know, Frankie Lane, all that big band stuff. So I was always singing. And so at J.C. Penney's, Friday nights would be a madhouse.
Okay.
And so when the store closed at 9 o'clock, I worked in the men's department, and the men's section would just be a mess. Shirts, ties, socks, thrown everywhere. So we didn't have time to straighten up the section, you know, at night. We were expected to do that the next morning before the store opened. So I go in at 8 o'clock the next morning, and there's about 5 people in the whole store. And it's a big cavernous store with a mezzanine and high ceilings and everything. And I'm singing away, and of course in a big building like that, it echoes like crazy. So it sounds great all over the place. And
Just like a doo-wop singer.
just like a doo-wop.
Wow.
You know how you find the subways, you know, and
Looking for an echo.
Looking for an echo. So I'm singing, straightening up the men's section, and there's a girl worked up in the women's section up in the mezzanine. And she
Is this it?
yeah. And so on a break, she said, "Hey, I heard you singing down there." You know, this was before the store opened, nobody cared. And she said, "I know a couple of guys in LA who have written this song, and they're looking for somebody to sing it." She said, "Let me give you their phone number." So we hooked up, and it was Marv and the guys, and we started rehearsing, and they had written "Image of a Girl." Marv had broken up with his girlfriend, and he was lying on the bed, listening to the clock.
In absolute misery.
Yeah, and he wrote this song, and so we started shopping it around, and we showed it to a lot of the smaller labels in Hollywood, and that Marv and Rich were familiar with. Some of them turned it down. Actually, Herb Alpert turned it down, and he wanted to record us as a group called the Angels on another label. So we did that. That didn't do anything, but we finally shopped Image of a Girl to a little company on Vine Street which was El Dorado Publishing Company. Hal Zeiger, who used to promote Ray Charles when he was in town. And they shortened the label to Eldo Records. The engineer was named Red Gilson, and it was a little, I don't know, 4-track or something in this little cracker box studio upstairs on Vine Street across from the Capitol Tower. And they knew all the DJs at the local radio station, KRLA. And so as soon as that record was pressed, Johnny Otis was part of it. He was on that label, so he had a hand in the production of it. And we ran it over to the DJs at KRLA, and they put it on and said, "Here's a new Southern California group called the Safaris." And
But this is almost like some of the stories I hear where there's persistence involved, where you get rejected.
oh,
Because it happened with the Four Seasons and so many other groups. They get rejected, but they persisted, and look at where they're at now.
can't take the first no.
No, but if you feel strong about yourself, you go for it. So how did you guys become the Safaris? What was the inspiration for that?
The Eldo Records already had a band on their label called the Masked Phantoms Band. And the Masked Phantom was a comic book character from in the 50s, 40s maybe even, who would take people on safari through Africa. And he was kind of the Batman of Africa, and he would protect the people from the bad guys on safari. So the Masked Phantoms Band, one thing led to another, and they say, "Hey, let's call you guys the Safari."
Okay.
So it was kind of a decision by the A&R guy and Hal Zeiger and everybody else.
So I'm glad to hear it had nothing to do with the Pontiac Safari.
Although one of my backup guys is an old car
Enthusiast.
aficionado, and he sent me a picture of the Safari with the thing on the side, the little chrome print out Safari. And the TikTok, which really became the hook for the song, when the lyric was, "As I lie awake, resting from the day," I guess the engineer, maybe with Johnny Otis, got the bright idea to put a wood block in it to simulate the tick-tocking of the clock, and that really became the hook. So people call it the TikTok song now.
But it drew people's attention to the song, because you hear a TikTok, but it was actually wood blocks.
Listen, we were in the Bay Area doing a show last year, and we're just getting ready to do Image of a Girl, and of course Peter has the wood block with the drumstick, and he starts the TikTok, and that's our lead into the song. And a lady in the front row, because the place was all quiet, all you heard was the TikTok, and she's, "Oh my God." She was a real fan of that song, and when she heard the TikTok, you could just tell it brought back so many memories.
You had a couple of hooks there, didn't you? You had a great song, you had the TikTok with the wood blocks, and everything just came together, and you're still performing to this very day.
And I'm still singing Image of a Girl in the same key.
Well,
Amazing.
it's a good thing you're either wearing tight underwear or you're eating birdseed or something.
Just lucky jeans.
Hey.
Lucky jeans.
All right. So we'll turn it over to Marie at Vinyl City Broadcasting.
Wasn't that a cool piece of trivia about Image of a Girl? And the drumstick on the block of wood, the hook, if you will. What a clever idea. So clever, it's been in the minds and hearts of doo-wop music lovers for over 50 years. And like Jimmy says, he still can sing that in the same key today that he sang 50 years ago. What a talent. We spent some quality time with Jimmy after the interview, sharing some rock and roll stories, shooting a few pictures, and then we presented him with a couple of gifts, unique gift items. Rico did a billboard comp layout, and Debbie, one of our off-site reporters and designer, presented him with a beautiful 45 RPM rock and roll clock. So cool. Show them on the screen, Rico, so that our VCB audience can see them. This was a billboard comp that Rico did. As the headline says, this is dedicated to those in love and to those looking for someone to bring them love. That includes all of us, doesn't it? Put up the second one, Rico. Great shot of the VCB team, Dan, Peter, and Debbie, presenting the clock to Jimmy. What a great guy he is. And we certainly appreciated him taking his time to do the interview, his performance on the concert that night, and spending some quality time with him. Next month, we're going to be interviewing another legendary doo-wop artist that performed at that same show, Maurice Williams of the Zodiacs. Don't miss that one either. Rico, the clock is ticking away. The show goes by so quickly. Remember, all contact information for Jimmy Stevens or VCB will be posted on our final slide. Also, if you missed any of our previous shows, just go to YouTube and type in VCB, Vinyl City Broadcasting. Turn the lights off, Rico. You know, I just can't seem to get the hook from Image of a Girl out of my mind, Rico.
Hey, who's making a tick-tock sound on the train there?